everyone, and welcome to Living in Sarasota, Florida YouTube channel. Now, if you've been watching, you know that I relocated to Sarasota a few years ago, and I share information about living, working, and enjoying Sarasota. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for tuning in. I am so glad you're here. I'm Lisa McBride. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty Select in Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch. I do share information all the time about living here, different neighborhoods, and things you want to know before you move to the area. Today, I wanted to share a few of the biggest surprises I had when moving to the area. But before I get started, don't forget to subscribe, leave comments below, and be sure to hit the bell button so you're notified of new videos, which I post every week. I thought it would be fun today to share a few things that really took me by surprise after moving to Florida and specifically to Sarasota. Prior to me moving to the area, I had spoken to a few people, and on more than one occasion, it was pointed out to me that the lifestyle and work ethic were a little bit different, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant until after living here for a while. There's definitely a difference to the overall feel of the community compared to the city that I was accustomed to in the Midwest. When living in Florida, there is always something that you can be doing. The weather is conducive to many outdoor activities. We have golf courses, we have the beaches, and we have a lot of people visiting us. So we just have a lot of different options. And in Sarasota, we have a number of snowbirds as well as retired folks. Due to this, half the people you meet will not be heading out to a regular 9-to-5 job. And keeping the same hours as when you're working a 40-hour work week is very different. Due to this difference, I feel like it's much more laid back here. Now, please know there are some extremely hardworking professionals and many people work very hard, but the feel is a little bit more laid back. Along the lines of work ethic, there are times that it may be hard to find a very honest, hardworking, reliable contractor. Now, Florida is definitely known for scams and scam artists. I know of people that have had contractors out to start jobs and then the job never gets finished. Whoever they hire just takes off. It is very odd to me, but it happens all the time. So you definitely need to work with people that you have vetted or have a track record or come highly recommended to you. Another surprise to me, I was always accustomed to be able to take a class or get involved in community involvement after work, during the evening or weekends. Well, here are so many of the classes and activities are scheduled during the day to accommodate our snowbirds and retirees. I was really surprised to find that our local art center didn't have classes in the evenings, and a lot of their offerings are during the daytime hours. I understand it, but it was surprising. For instance, I wanted to take a photography class, and it was hard to find an evening or weekend option. The next big surprise for me was how few people were actually from Florida. Don't get me wrong, I have met a few people born and raised in the area. However, Florida is truly a melting pot. People are from every state in the nation and from countries throughout the world. And many people flock to Florida for the warm weather, the water, and the fact that we have no state income tax. All amazing benefits of living in Florida. Another big surprise, I was surprised by the number of neighborhoods. Now, that might sound crazy since I'm in real estate, but there's hundreds or thousands of neighborhoods. Every neighborhood has its own name, and they all vary in size. I know neighborhoods that have 24 homes, and then I know other neighborhoods that may have 1,000 homes. And within each neighborhood, you have little neighborhoods. A good example is perhaps Palmer Ranch or the Meadows. These are neighborhoods that I talk about quite often and you may hear about, but within Palmer Ranch itself, it has over 35 communities. And even within some of those communities, you could have little sub-communities. So there's just so many different neighborhoods. And each neighborhood has its own HOA, its own rules and restrictions, and a lot to learn about each one, which kind of leads me into deed restrictions. Again, I probably should have been a little bit more prepared, but every location is different. And the big things that you need to know with communities that have deed restrictions are pet restrictions, because how many can you have, what kind, and what size are really important. The other thing with deed restriction is, can you rent the home? How often? How many times a year? It's crazy. And every building, every neighborhood, every condo, every association is different. So there is not one blanket statement that covers rentals, pets, restrictions for anyone. So we definitely have to dive into the deed restrictions when we look at neighborhoods. Now, speaking of things that are also different, we are surrounded by 3 barrier islands: Longboat Key, Lido Key, and Siesta Key. 3 three very different beaches and locations. Longboat Key is elite and posh and beautiful and just a little bit older in population. And then we have Lido Key, which feels very, very local. It's very easy to get to. It's right across Ringling Bridge, and it's beautiful as well. And finally, we have Siesta Key. And most people have heard of Siesta Key if they're coming to this area. It is amazing to me the difference, because Siesta Key is very touristy, it's beautiful, but it has a different vibe. And the sand is different on each beach, and what you do on each beach is very, very different. And that really surprised me. A few other little surprises: how much notice we actually get if a hurricane is going to make landfall. And everyone that lives in Florida will eventually have a hurricane story to tell. If you're curious about mine, let me know. I'm happy to share it. I was also really surprised by how much traffic we actually do have from mid-February through mid-April. Now, Sarasota is not like this huge spring break hotspot, but we get a lot of visitors in the winter months, and the traffic can get really crazy. Also, something I discovered that is surprising to me: I didn't need half the amount of clothes. I mean, we only have 2 seasons, and one is very, very long. I have kept a few pair of boots and a few sweaters, but honestly, you just don't need many of those items. When you do, it's a really nice change of pace, and it's nice to put on a sweater and a pair of boots, but I barely ever use them, and I'm still cleaning out my closets, getting rid of items that I haven't touched in 5 years. And one of the most surprising things to me, I do indeed get a little tired of the heat. And I hate to admit that, because I love warm weather. I am currently recording this in August though, and sure enough, August and September are hot. It's hot all summer, but there's something about the humidity that happens in August and September, and it can get a little overwhelming. However, I say that, I still choose to dine outside as often as possible, and I'd still prefer it over snow. And the last thing that I discovered, we have some of the most beautiful sunsets you will ever see. Now, I have always appreciated a beautiful sky, but in Florida, there is something about the colors and the vibrancy. These sunsets are breathtaking, and they deserve every photo that is taken of them and all the people on the beaches watching them. It's just breathtaking and something to take in. Now, for those of you that have moved here to the area, what were some of the things that surprised you the most? I would love to hear your comments below and share with me what you have discovered. I really do appreciate you watching. If there's anything that I can do to be of help, don't hesitate to reach out. And until next time, take care.